Hello and welcome to Viewpoints. I'm Bill Wickers. Today we're here with Lieutenant Commander Chris Sweeney of the United States Coast Guard, who's recently completed his Naval Postgraduate School Master's Thesis in foreign flag vessels in the Great Lakes and their risks to Homeland Security. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, Bill.
How did you decide to study and research foreign vessels in the Great Lakes?
Well, I'm currently assigned to the 9th Coast Guard District up in Cleveland, Ohio, which is responsible for the Great Lakes. Part of my duties and responsibilities are to screen and watch what's going on with the vessels coming into the Great Lakes. So the foreign flag vessels, as well as some domestic commercial traffic and recreational boats, are our business.
Do you think there needs to be more awareness about foreign flag vessels in the Great Lakes?
Really, the purpose of my thesis is to bring awareness to the problem. You'd be surprised that people don't realize that the ships that they're seeing sail from ports from all over the world into the internal waters of the Great Lakes, and what they could potentially bring in terms of threats and increased risk to Homeland Security.
The U.S. has a significant border with Canada along the Great Lakes. What are the complexities of the issue in dealing internationally with a foreign country?
We share a 1,500-mile long international border with our Canadian friends. They're clearly our closest allies, and in the region they are obviously one of our closest partners. When you talk about doing law enforcement and national security in the Great Lakes, you see how different our rules and laws are from the Canadians. So it makes it difficult because they are a sovereign nation. So sharing it, we have to really understand what their rules are and what our rules are, and try to combine our efforts in two separate systems.
What are some of the potential threats from foreign flag vessels in the Great Lakes?
Well, we get almost 500 foreign flag vessels into the Great Lakes each year. These vessels come from all over the world, including some hotspots. They come from West Africa, South America, the Caribbean, even as far as the Eastern Mediterranean and Asia. The crews that are on these boats are foreign nationals, and the potential is there for them to exploit the system as it is.
And there are some vulnerabilities associated with those boats not only traversing the waterway coming in, but actually being in the Great Lakes?
There are. And most other ports in the United States, they come from the ocean and they arrive at the port on the coast of the United States. Within the Great Lakes, they enter the St. Lawrence Seaway and can travel up to 9 days, in most cases before being boarded by authorities. So they have 9 days within the internal waters of the United States and Canada to, if they choose to exploit that time, to sail without anyone really getting aboard and seeing what's going on the vessel.
Considering your research and your findings, what do you think some of the consequences from some of the foreign flag vessels in the Great Lakes could be? Well,
the first thing we have to understand is that the Great Lakes represent about $34.6 billion worth of commerce for the U.S. and Canada. If you look, since there's only one way into the Great Lakes, it's really like I call it the port of the Great Lakes, which makes it one of the top 10 ports in the United States. So because the St. Lawrence Seaway has a sets of locks, it's a very linear system. Should those locks be taken out, the Great Lakes would be shut down, thus shutting down that $34 billion in industry. So those consequences, on top of any consequences that are beyond the beach, if they choose to use a foreign flag vessel as a transportation vector to transport possibly terrorists into the United States, or a weapon of mass destruction, or conversely, if they use it to export restricted technology or potentially intelligence operatives out of the Great Lakes, it would be devastating to both us and the Canadians.
Sounds like quite a challenge. What do you think can be done to reduce the risk?
Well, in my research, I figured out that there are 4 areas that we can look at. We can look at enforcement, we can look at regulations, we can look at intelligence, and finally investigations. And to really solve the problem, we would have to do it in a binational agreement, in a cooperative agreement with the Canadians. There's a lot of work to be done to align the way we operate and the way the Canadians operate in those 4 areas. But basically, turning the system of the Great Lakes into a single system, a joint U.S. and Canadian endeavor, it would be the way to go and do it.
Sounds great. Are there examples that you can think of where there are binational agreements in place?
We have a lot of binational agreements with governments in the Caribbean that we've been the Coast Guard's been working with for quite a while. Within the Great Lakes, we have a binational agreement that will be kicking off this summer called Operation Shiprider, where we are doing small boat and recreational vessel enforcement using U.S. and Canadian, specifically Coast Guard and RCMP personnel, to ride together on small boats and virtually erase the border for recreational vessel safety and enforcement operations. So hopefully we can take that concept and continue down the road to doing foreign flag vessel operations in a combined manner.
Sounds like you've really done a lot of work, and thank you for your efforts. Congratulations on completion of your thesis.
Thank you, Bill.
Excellent job.
Appreciate it.